Having a boyfriend is embarrassing.
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing?
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now?
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now?
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now article.
An article on Vogue titled Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now? Written by Shanspeare Joseph has been making waves and causing discourse on social media because somewhere along the way, dating men started to feel a little bit embarrassing. Women are slowly starting to realize that being partnered specifically with men comes with baggage. So is having a boyfriend really that embarrassing? And if so, how did we get here? Let's talk about it.
Embarrassing!
More good women have lost a marriage into war, famine, disease, and disaster. You have talent, darling. Don't squander it.
There was a time where being a woman on the internet meant that if you entered a relationship, that became a part of your online identity. Your feed became a curated shrine of your relationship. Holding hands at brunch, cute dates in the pumpkin patch, matching outfits at Christmas, long captions about how William is your world and how lucky you are to have him in your life. We get it. We get it. A Substack creator named Rain Fisher Kwan calls this boyfriend land. Okay, it's not an amusement park. Thank God.
Thank God.
A world where women's online identities centered around the lives of their partners, a situation rarely seen reversed. But if we're being 110% honest, the return on investment for a lot of these women was pretty great. For some people, doing this sort of couples content gets them way more engagement, it gets them more brand deals, it gets them more attention in general. So if you start posting your partner and kind of start centering your life around your partner and you're seeing benefits from it, it would make sense why you would want to keep doing it. But lately, something has shifted. Couples posts where both faces were fully out and visible became, a concept of a couples post. Like it would be the woman and then the guy with his head cut off, or the guy with his face blurred out, or with an emoji over it. And it's almost kind of like, you didn't have to post this, right? Like, you could have just told him to scoot over a few feet, took a selfie and posted, oh, you knew? My bad. More and more women have begun cropping their men out of their photos, or at least parts of them. And a lot of them aren't even popping out in general unless they're engaged or even outright married.
Taylor Rooks shook the timeline up on Wednesday night when she announced her marriage to her now husband. What you mean, husband? I didn't know she was in a relationship. The private girlies are going to let us know their relationship when they are locked in. And in this case, they're locked in the marriage. The couple got married this past Saturday in New York at Gotham Hall. And of course, keeping in the sports family, she gave the exclusive to GQ Sports.
Because now, a lot of the time, posting your man can kind of come off as you being man obsessed, you being a bit desperate. It can come off as a bit cringy, And there are actually very specific reasons as to why this is, but we're going to get into that a little later in the video. But to give a quick example, heterofatalism is becoming more of a thing nowadays. Writer Zoe Samudzi captures this perfectly. Women don't want to be seen as being all about their man, but they also want the clout that comes with being partnered. So we begin to post the idea of a man as opposed to the actual man himself. One of the reasons why having a boyfriend is starting to feel a little embarrassing,
This is really embarrassing,
is because there is this quiet paranoia taking over on social media. Some women believe that posting their relationship might curse it because they have a fear of evil eye. A lot of people believe that envy or jealousy can ruin their relationship if they post it online. And even if you're not necessarily afraid of being jinxed per se, there is another aspect of this, and it is how permanent the internet really is. Breakups are already extremely messy. Now, imagine you're going through a messy breakup and people online are talking about it, and every other scroll, you have to see a picture of you and your ex that you posted on Instagram 4 years ago. A TikTok creator in the Vogue article named Nikki was quoted saying, "I was in a relationship for 12 years and never once posted him or talked about him online. We broke up recently and I don't think I will ever post a man. Even though I am a romantic, I still feel like men will embarrass you even 12 years in. So claiming them feels lame." So even women that are happily in love with their male partner still are cropping and blurring and obscuring, simply just out of the sheer kind of lameness and embarrassing feeling it is to be on the internet like, look at me, you know? Not saying that it is lame, it just can probably feel lame at times. The key takeaway here is that for a lot of women, the risks of being publicly seen with a man or a boyfriend are starting to outweigh the rewards. It's just not worth it for a lot of people. Now, obviously, somewhere along the way, it became embarrassing to have a boyfriend, right? As the article states, boyfriends are out of style. They won't come back in until they start acting right. And that's because for a lot of women, especially if you're in the public eye or even not, they can genuinely take a hit on your reputation. We've seen examples over and over and over how women's relationships with men oftentimes will end up embarrassing you in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter who you are. And so for that reason, women are starting to distance themselves from their relationships, at least publicly. We've been seeing the concept of something called a soft launch.
What do you think a soft launch is?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the terms mean.
Okay.
Like soft launch means like probably I would say like a hand
Good job.
holding
Okay.
photo.
Ding, ding.
Yeah, or back of the head,
Okay.
like no face, no
face.
facial recognition. It's
Hard
true.
launch is we are dating.
We hard
like
launch?
a tag.
You make it sound
But I
like a
didn't tag.
product.
As opposed to a hard launch, because people, want to be seen, want to let people know like, hey, I'm taken. But by who? You may never know. And you'll often also see women that are in full-fledged like marriages or relationships that are fully like, yeah, I hate men. I hate them. I hate all of them. I don't know how this one got through. And honestly, some people might say that they're pandering, but I think that's a very real sentiment. I'm not gonna lie. The era of the boyfriend girl seems to be fleeting, at least in the capacity that it once was. And honestly, understandably so. Now, there has been a big shift when it comes to posting your man online in this specific way. Now, posting a man can literally cost you. When British Vogue contributor Stephanie Mbowe hard launched her relationship with her boyfriend on Instagram, she literally lost hundreds of followers. Not 5, not 10, not 20, hundreds. Even if we were still together, I wouldn't post them here. There's something cringy and embarrassing about constantly posting your partner these days. There's part of me that would also feel guilty for sharing my partner constantly, especially when we know the dating landscape is really bad at the moment. I wouldn't want to be boastful. And she's not wrong. If you're kind of seen as like this relatable, fun girl, and then all of a sudden a man comes in, why would a man be here?
Why would a man be there? Why would a man be there? No, it's actually pissing me off.
All of a sudden, incorporating a man can be a bit jarring to your audience, if that's, not the target audience for that. A content creator by the name of Stephanie Milner went through the same thing. So she shared that a guy took her on a trip to Sicily and, she had a great time. Her followers said, "I am begging you. Like, I am on my hands and knees begging you. Please do not get a boyfriend." Which, is hilarious, actually. Because I picture her followers, when she told them that she went on a trip to Sicily with a guy, that they pictured her being sucked into a black void. No, please do not. That is the worst thing in life you could ever do. And I think that's kind of hilarious. But Stephanie, she understood. And she stated that her content perhaps becomes less exciting when she's in a relationship. And that being single gives her this ultimate freedom to say and do what you want. So having a man isn't just emotionally expensive, but it can also be algorithmically expensive, and financially as well. Now, as the article states, one of the biggest reasons for this shift is because a lot of women are starting to question heteronormativity, specifically in a way that we've never had to do before, like maybe other queer communities have had. Forever, heterosexuality has kind of been the default. and considered to be the norm. But in recent years, a lot of people are starting to side-eye it. The expectations, the labor imbalance, the way we were once told that being partnered with a man validated you as a woman, you know? But a lot of women are slowly waking up and realizing that that is just not the case. We get to write our own story. When you really start to contend with the messaging that we were sold our entire lives and women of previous generations, you really start to realize we were sold a really bad deal for a very long time. Women have constantly been getting the short end of this stick and told to, just suck it up and be happy with what you've got. For the first time in a very long time, women are truly learning to just be happy alone. Women are realizing that they don't necessarily need a man in order to live a fulfilling life. And this leads me into my opinions and my speculations as to why/how we got to this point. Getting straight into it, a lot of women are very financially independent. I mean, as generations are going on, women are achieving more and more, going to university more, becoming higher earners, and oftentimes out earning their male counterparts. And when we think back to the past, there was a period where women couldn't even open up a bank account without having a man there to co-sign.
It was not until 1974 that women were able to have their own bank accounts separate from their husband's signature. Now, let me preface, I am not anti-marriage. In fact, I'm very for marriage and partnerships, just done the right way. You see, I truly believe that the reason that marriages lasted so much longer 50 plus years ago was because there was no other choice. When you don't have personal sovereignty over your finances, you don't have personal sovereignty over your life. And so many women my age want the rich husband, they want someone to take care of them, they want them to provide them with this luxurious lifestyle. But here's the catch. Nothing comes without a cost.
So as women are gaining more financial independence, it's like, what do we need you for? Like, I can buy my own bacon and I could cook it too. So like, we don't necessarily need you in the same way that we did in the past when we legitimately had no independence. Another reason why I feel like a lot of women are stepping away from men and feeling like actually having a boyfriend is embarrassing is because a lot of women are slowly realizing that they don't want to be mothers. They don't want to have children. So if I don't want to have a kid, what do I need you here for? A lot of women end up settling into relationships where, they're not being treated well, they're not necessarily happy, simply because they feel like their biological clock is ticking and they need to have a baby before it's too late.
Once I got comfortable with being lonely or being at home by myself, once I stopped being worried about this biological clock, it's like the luster of settling down in a relationship really went away. And when I took those patriarchy beer goggles off and I started looking at the dudes around me that I would be like seeking relationships with, I was like, God damn, these motherfuckers are creatures from the deep. You look at these dudes and you're like, because the truth of the matter is, especially for women, we be lowering our standards so goddamn low just so that we can be in a relationship. So we can say we got a man. So we don't have to be, quote, lonely. So that we can pop that baby out because everybody else is doing it. That's another thing, the societal pressure. Everybody else is doing it, keeping up with the Joneses. How many people settle down in relationships and get married just because everybody else was?
So they will either consciously or subconsciously tell themselves that this man is right for them when in reality he's not. But it's just this internal fear that if I don't do this, I'll never get to experience the dream that I've been sold, which is being a wife and mother is the most fulfilling thing I could ever do in life, which maybe for some people it is. I'm not negating that, but a lot more women are realizing that they never truly wanted that. Another reason I feel like women are stepping away from dating is because for a lot of women, having a boyfriend can feel like a humiliation ritual. How many times have we seen men on the internet embarrassing women, whether it's their girlfriend, fiance, wife, etc., is actually quite terrifying. Some of the horror stories that women have. So if so many women are entering these relationships and just being burned, just being treated like scum on the bottom of somebody's shoe, then why should they keep participating in something that's only hurting them? It doesn't make any sense. Going back to a topic I brought up earlier, heterofatalism. Relationships feel like inevitable disappointments, with emotional labor, power imbalances, and lack of fulfilling partners. It just seems like entering into a heterosexual relationship more times than not is going to leave you more burnt out, drained, and unhappy than when you entered it. So again, why should we participate in something that is hurting us? A majority of women that are married have to endure so much just to remain married. It's like, is it worth it? For a lot of women, it isn't. These days, a lot of the times if you tell a woman that she's gonna die alone with her cats, her response will be, I hope so. So going back to the original question, is having a boyfriend really that embarrassing? For me, I don't know. I know that there are some guys out there that are pretty great, and I know that not every guy out there is terrible, but even the best ones can be a bit frustrating. So I guess that question is up for the individual to decide, but more often than not, these guys are embarrassing. I mean, let's just be honest. But I would love to hear your opinion in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so you can be notified when more videos like these are posted. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel but don't know where to start, then I've got you covered. I created a comprehensive beginner's guide, and that'll be linked in the description box down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. What did Nene say? She said, if I was gay, I would say I was gay. Woo!
If I was gay, I'd be like, I'm gay, woo! And I hang with the gays, but I ain't gay.
Anyways.